Hello and welcome to another episode of Trauma Bond and Elixir, the podcast where we explore the profound impact of trauma on our minds and bodies and discover healing elixirs for the wounded soul. And today we're talking about anhedonia, the loss of pleasure. And at times, trauma detaches us so much that we end up feeling numb. Anhedonia is complex, but it basically means the inability to experience pleasure or joy from activities that we once enjoyed and we were happy with. It's like a filter that dims down the vibrancy of life. So, when we talk about doing things that we used to enjoy, we need to look at two things: energy and will. Now, people with anhedonia will have no energy and no will. So, as part of the anhedonia, they will also have inertia and avolition. So, you can already see the connection. I have no energy, I have no will, I cannot get started, and even if I do, there's absolutely no pleasure, there's no feeling of joy from ending or finishing an activity. Now, oftentimes, behavioral activation and scheduling will help with the inertia and the avolition. So basically, with the will and with the energy. It will not help with the anhedonia in itself. And what behavioral activation means, it's basically doing something even though you do not feel like it, doing something even though you consider it useless, pointless, just getting that ball starting, getting the ball rolling, and finishing that activity will help you find some sort of enjoyment. So, in order for you to do this, you might want to ask help from family, from friends, from a support group. Ask for help in getting started and getting motivated. Um, Once the ball rolls, you will see that it's not that bad. And again, there is some positive emotion there. Now, how does trauma rob us of the pleasure to do things? Well, we all know that traumatic experiences can disrupt the brain's reward system, which leaves a crucial role in our ability to feel pleasure. So, the intense stress and emotional overload from the trauma can lead to changes in the brain chemistry affecting our neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin. And these imbalances can dampen the joy we once felt and create a deep sense of emptiness. And at times, I see people wanting to start something, searching for a hobby, searching for something to do, and they have no passion, no drive. There's nothing they consider themselves good at, or if they used to like it, they no longer want to do the certain activity, and it's very painful and it's very depressing at times. And once we start the healing process and once we go deeper into these feelings, we come to realize that it's in a way a wonderful coping mechanism, the loss of interest in things. Because when they were little, when they were within the family, if they had an interest for things or if they liked something, that would probably be taken away from them, or it would have been destroyed, it would have been ruined. They would be suffering as a consequence. So in order for the body to protect them from that pain, it created this loss of interest. And it's very amazing how our brain works and how it finds coping mechanisms and ways around the pain. And of course, loss of interest later in life is no longer good and is no longer something helpful, But if we don't look at these systems, if we don't analyze them, if we don't try to understand how is it that we ended up in a certain point, how we ended up where we are now, we're probably not going to discover why is this happening. So oftentimes, from my experience, the loss of interest can be because of a lot of trauma within the family. Maybe you were bullied by your siblings. Maybe it was a narcissistic environment. It depends. But a lot of the times, people have this deep realization that they lost interest because they were protecting themselves, because they didn't want to get hurt. Um, of course, anhedonia can also be connected with other illnesses, other mental illnesses, like depression and schizophrenia. But if that is not the case, if you simply no longer enjoy life, then it's good to seek therapy. It's good to seek support and to understand that you're not alone in this, and it is something that's happening to people. So it's encouraging to know that there are avenues for healing. And if you're currently going through this, it's important to remember to ask for help, seek support, recognize that this is a symptom, is not a personal failure. Practice compassion and self care, even if it feels difficult or pointless. So let's remember it is possible to find joy and to reestablish this lost connection.